Let's talk about net neutrality. Huge news from President Obama, who has now come out and said very directly and very clearly that he believes the internet should be reclassified as a public utility. And this has been a huge point of contention within the net neutrality debate around whether the internet is really becoming, in practical terms, the same as water, the same as electricity. And believing that that is the way things should go for President Obama is actually a really big deal, because much of what the big corporate internet service providers want to do is premised on the assumption that the internet will not be classified as a public utility. So President Obama saying, quote, "To put these protections in place, I'm asking the FCC to reclassify internet service under Title II of a law known as the Telecommunications Act. In plain English, I'm asking the FCC to recognize that for most Americans, the internet has become an essential part of everyday communication and everyday life." And I would go even further. Even if we consider the fact that many Americans don't have internet in their homes, think about their lives and how much of a factor the internet is there. If they are going to the library and using the internet to take books out, or if they're ordering products at their local store and it is internet logistics that are being used to get those products to their door, if they're using a mobile phone that has access to the internet, even if you don't have a so-called internet plan on a home computer, you still, Lewis, are using the internet increasingly in a way that it is just a utility that you rely on for your day-to-day.
It's been almost fully integrated into all of our lives. And Obama's 100% right. This should be classified as a public utility.
And the timing here is going to be interesting, ladies and gentlemen, because we see just after a midterm election where we are now wondering what is going to be the dynamic between the Republicans, who now control both the Senate and the House of Representatives, and President Obama. Is President Obama going to be increasingly forced into using executive orders to make political achievements happen? And waiting no time at all, Senator Ted Cruz has already come out and said that net neutrality is the Obamacare of the internet. It is Obamacare for the internet, and going on to say the internet should not operate at the speed of government on Twitter. That's Ted Cruz. Very funny that Ted Cruz is using the internet to communicate his positions to his constituents. If there has ever been a sign that President Obama is right that we are dealing with a public utility here, it's that Ted Cruz and many of his buddies are regularly communicating with constituents via the internet rather than via some kind of press call or other sort of utility.
And we can always count on people like Ted Cruz to try and make sure that they are protecting corporate interests.
Yeah.
And it's all about money here, of course. And Ted Cruz wants to make sure that we are spending top dollar and that the cable companies are making top dollar.
No question about it. And when you see people like Ted Cruz start to dive into this in this way, I would actually love it if we had internet that was government speeds. I don't know how much people know about the history of the internet and how far ahead of much of the technology the government's internet access hubs are. I would love it if we had an internet for everybody that was operating at government speed.
Well, does he mean literally government speed, or
he does not.
figuratively?
He means figuratively, but in this particular case, applying it literally actually works quite well.
But figuratively now, with complete control by Republicans, things will probably be moving quite slow.
We've seen actually the government is slowest when you have President Obama in office and 6 years of Republican House control. The government moves very, very slowly in those cases.